All right, guys, we got some trade talk to get into here on Chicago Bears. Now, the last Bears trade video we did got 49 new subscribers. That tells me you guys seem to be liking the trade content with the NFL trade deadline 1 week away. Can we top that number? Can we get 50-plus new subscribers? If we do, I'm chugging a boot for free on Thursday's live show. I was going to say a beer bong. We're doing a beer boot. That's three beers worth. Let's make it happen. If you want more Bears trade content over the next week or so, hit that sub button. All right, my name is Harrison Graham, still battling through the hoarse voice here for you guys. We got some blockbuster trade ideas to dive into here on today's show. 5 of them, some of them send players away, a couple bring some players in. So stick with us here on Chicago Bears Now. Let's start with the first one here, Bears-Commanders trade idea. As we've talked about Washington a lot, Montez Sweat, Chase Young. Could the Commanders move one of these young edge rushers before the NFL trade deadline? Here is my trade proposal. I like Chase Young more. He's younger. I think he's got a little bit more upside, although Montez Sweat probably a little bit more proven up to this point in his career. Here's my trade idea. Chase Young in a 6th to Chicago for a 2nd and a 4th. Now, look, I'll be straight up. Washington may not take this. They may ask for a first-round pick, and I just want to get that out of the way. There's no scenario, if I'm Ryan Poles, where I'm trading one of my 2 first-round picks. I just can't do it. I got to have that going into this offseason. Both picks could be very high. Obviously, the Carolina pick's untouchable, but I'm not trading the Bears' own first-round pick either. There's just no trade out there where I would do it. So if Washington's willing to give up one of these edge rushers for a second-round pick, that would intrigue me. But to do it for a first, I'm not doing that right now, especially when both are set for free agency. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get them, but it means it could be a possibility that they would hit the open market. Now, you look at what Chase Young has done this year. I mean, he's been great. He looks back to rookie form and even better, if we're being completely honest. 14 tackles. He's got 5 sacks, 9 QB hits, 35 pressures, which is in the top 10% or so among defensive linemen this season. Here's the thing, too, guys. He's only 24, and he's back. He looks back to me. And it really goes to show, if you're Washington, why on earth would you not pick up his 5th-year option? I get the last couple of years he dealt with injuries, but you took him number 2 overall, and when he's been healthy, he's been really good. Why would you do that? Because now you've backed yourself into a corner with him and Montez Sweat hitting free agency potentially in the same offseason, and it's going to be hard to pay both those guys when you've already paid Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen. And for the Bears, that is something that this team is lacking, a young, dynamic edge rusher. Yannick Ngakoue is a solid vet, but he's not great. DeMarcus Walker has not done a ton. I think the interior guys have played better as of late. Justin Jones has had a couple of nice games here. Andrew Billings has been a good run stopper for this team. But you need a guy off the edge that can go get the quarterback and harass the quarterback. That is something Chase Young can do. And if you can get him without giving up a first-round pick, I am very intrigued by that. Now, would you trade a second-round pick for Chase Young? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I think I would because, yes, I know you're 2-5, and yes, you're in that rebuilding category, but that's a player you can rebuild with. Let me ask you this. If he hits free agency, would you not offer him a big contract? I would. So why not try and beat the rest of the crop and bring him in here now? I'm not going to trade a first for him, but for a second, I would absolutely consider that if I was Ryan Poles. Next up is a Bears-Texans trade idea between Chicago and Houston. For the Bears, they would get a 4th-round pick, which is from Cleveland, by the way, still from that Deshaun Watson trade a couple years ago. The Texans would receive Darnell Mooney in a 5th-round pick. Look, I just don't think Darnell Mooney has great value right now. And look, let me be clear. That trade right there, I would not do that trade. I'd rather just keep him if it's a pick swap 4th and 5th, and then getting just moving up around. I would not do that. But this idea that you could get a 3rd-round pick for Darnell Mooney, 2nd-round pick, I just don't think it exists. I mean, you look at his career; he has declined the past few years statistically, which is unfortunate for whatever reason. He just hasn't been as productive. I mean, in 6 games this year, he has 14 catches and less than 200 yards. I still believe in Darnell Mooney, but I think he's in that category right now, especially coming off that injury last year. He's a good number 3. He's definitely not a 1. Right now I can't put him in the category of a number 2. And while Tyler Scott hasn't done a ton this year, the last couple of games he's gotten a little bit involved, a little bit more frequency in the offense. 4 catches, 31 yards the last 2 weeks. It's not crazy by any means. Darnell Mooney's a better player than Tyler Scott. But could I see Ryan Poles considering moving a guy like Darnell Mooney? I could see that. Would I do it for that type of trade? No. If I'm getting a 4th and not having to give up a 5th, would I consider that? Maybe. But I just don't. I don't think his value is very high right now, which is why I'm probably answering this question with K for keep because, hey, maybe you get him for cheap, right? Maybe you sign him to a 1-2-year deal for like $8 million per year or something like that. 2 years, $16 million. Like, I think if you have him as your number 3, maybe you get Marvin Harrison in the draft. DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, Darnell Mooney. That'd be pretty nasty. Cole Kmet at tight end, but we'll see what Ryan Poles does. We know he values draft capital, so I wouldn't rule anything out. Today's show is sponsored by our newest sponsor here at Chat Sports, Kudo Popcorn, the official popcorn, protein popcorn, by the way, of the UFC. Let's talk about Kudo a little bit here on today's show. Are you looking for a new guilt-free snack? Meet Kudo, the official protein popcorn of the UFC. Like I mentioned, their revolutionary cooking method allows each bag of popcorn to have 10 grams of whey protein isolate in every bag while still tasting absolutely delicious. Yes, you heard that right. 10 whole grams of protein in every bag. Several MMA athletes like Michael Chandler, Robbie Lawler, Bruce Buffer, and even Dana White himself endorse Kudo. So for a limited time only, you guys can get 25% off with code CHAT at kudosnacks.com. Tons of different flavors available. I'm a big fan of the white cheddar. That's always been my favorite popcorn flavor anyway, and now I'm getting it in a protein healthy way. You can't ask for more than that. Look, we like to snack. You want to do it in a healthy manner, though. That's what Kudo is going to allow you to do. So many benefits and reasons to make Kudo popcorn your new go-to snack. It's gluten-free, preservative-free, 100% whole grain, keto-friendly, only has 70 calories per cup, and it's made right here in the United States. Other possible benefits as well include helping with weight loss and lowering your cholesterol. Yes, what an opportunity for you. Get going with Kudo. You'll be amazed. Kudo popcorn has somehow made your healthy snack even tastier and healthier. So again, for a limited time only, use promo code CHAT at kudosnacks.com to get 25% off. That's code CHAT at kudosnacks.com, K-U-D-O snacks.com to get 25% off. Check out their different flavors. Delicious options there. Kudosnacks.com, promo code CHAT, link and code in the description and comments of this video. All right, let's go to a Bears-Bengals trade here as we keep this show rolling here a week before the NFL trade deadline. This isn't really blockbuster. Not all of these are crazy trades, right? Eddie Jackson for a 6th. That kind of hunted the contender market. Cincinnati's 3-3, but you know they're eyeing a playoff spot with Joe Burrow and the boys over there. They lost Jesse Bates this offseason. Their safety play's been okay this year. Dax Hill has slid over to free safety, but you could slide him to strong if you wanted, play Eddie Jackson there, or Jackson could be like your nickel safety 3 type of guy, put a veteran in that room. His best days are behind him. It's unfortunate, man. He was playing really, really well last year before suffering that Lisfranc foot injury, and he's still been battling it this year. So I do think trading him is a little tricky because of that, which is why I wouldn't expect big returns, 6th, 7th round pick, something like that. But it'd be huge if he could play against the Chargers on Sunday, play well, and maybe a team bites if you do want to trade him, because I do think that Eddie Jackson, if you don't trade him, is a prime cut candidate this offseason. You can save, I think $12-13 million if you cut him. I think his cap hits like $18 million for next year. Like, unless he plays unreal football the rest of the season, he's either going to take a pay cut or get cut or traded this offseason. So I like Eddie. He was voted a team captain for this team last year, obviously, and again, it's unfortunate, but that foot injury just really seems to have derailed things for him a little bit. And I think trading him, get a late-round pick, and keep playing Elijah Hicks to get him some opportunities, and probably address safety next offseason to pair someone with Jaquan Brisker. Couple more here. Bears-Patriots trade idea. Josh Uche coming to Chicago again, another edge rusher, another pass rusher, another young guy for a 2024 third-round pick. And Dominique Robinson, someone New England can try to develop. He hasn't really been developing that well here in Chicago. I think Uche's right on that edge of second, third-round pick. That's why I threw Dom Rob in there just to get a body back to New England. So you look at his last couple of years. Last year, he really broke out for the Patriots. 11.5 sacks, 56 pressures. He was really, really good. This year, the numbers aren't as gaudy, but he's still been pretty good overall. The pressures are still there. The sacks aren't quite on pace. Other than some minor injury concerns he's had throughout his career, he's been pretty good, especially this last year and a half. He's developed really nicely in New England. And look, he's set to be a free agent next offseason. So, again, similar to Chase Young, but on a lower scale. You could beat the crowd, get him now, get him in here for a third-round pick, and give him a 3 or 4 year extension. And that can be a building block moving forward. I don't think he's a, number one feared pass rusher on a good defensive line, but I think he's a damn good two. Like, him and Matt Judon were an unreal duo last year, with Judon being that top dog. Like, you get Uche, maybe you draft somebody, maybe you sign someone else in free agency. I think that can be more than formidable moving forward. Now, I do want to make this clear as well. My criteria to buy at the deadline this year, because again, you are a 2-5 football team. You're not mortgaging the future, in my opinion, right now. It's got to be a young player or players, not cost you one of your first-round picks. I already said that. I'm not trading one of those picks. And he's got to play a premium position and a position of need. Edge rusher, if there's a left tackle that randomly becomes available that you can get, if you're not sold on Braxton Jones, maybe a center. But I think defensive line in particular is an area I'm looking at, because there are a lot of edges set to hit free agency next year. So if a couple teams are willing to move some of those pieces, then I'd be interested. Again, not trading a first-round pick, but there could be a situation where the right opportunity falls into your lap for a young, ascending player at a key position of need. So what do you guys think, guys? Should the Bears be trade deadline buyers or sellers? B for buyers, S for sellers. I still think you're more in the sellers category, but again, I do think there are scenarios where this team could buy. And by the way, the answer could be both, which is kind of what they did last year. Traded Roquan, traded for Claypool, and we don't talk about Claypool anymore. Okay, let's get to the last one here. Bears-49ers trade. I threw this one in there because I watched Monday Night Football, and look, the Vikings have a great offensive line. That team's bipolar. I mean, they looked terrible against the Bears last week. I know they won that game, but then they beat San Francisco. It's just weird. But something stood out to me, and again, I know Minnesota's O-line's pretty damn good. Darrisaw, I mean, he shut down Nick Bosa, but I think the 49ers could use another edge rusher, another guy who can stick his hand in the dirt and get after the quarterback. And Yannick Ngakoue, especially when he's not asked to be the top guy, if he's more of a pass downs only rotation guy, he can be really effective. That's why he's had 8 or more sacks in every year of his career. He's not quite on pace to do that here. He's more in the 6 range. He's been okay for Chicago. Has 19 pressures. That's pretty solid. I mean, he's going to get you probably around 50 or so. That's pretty good. But he has probably not quite lived up to what we were hoping for. He hasn't made as big of an impact as we were hoping for. So I think potentially trading him to a contender for, a 6th-round pick or something like that, and you're probably saying, why would you trade him for a 6th? He's on a 1-year deal. You're not going to get a lot for him. Now, if you're in the camp of, hey, let's give him a 1 or 2 year extension, bring him back, I'd rather do that than trade him for a 6th. Sure, I'm open to that. Bring him back. Now, you still need to upgrade at edge, but I think a team like San Francisco could look to add one more bullet to the chamber. A guy like Drake Jackson hasn't done much for them, so I think Ngakoue could be an interesting fit at the trade deadline. All right, guys, it's going to do it for today's Blockbuster Trade Ideas video. If you have any trade ideas, drop them in the comments, and hell, maybe we'll talk about some of them on a video. My name is Harrison Graham. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you tomorrow.